And welcome back to the Business of Business podcast, Two Daughters and Their Dad. I'm your host, Staci Joy Dempsey. And like always, I have with me, thankfully, one of the other daughters and the one and only dad. Good morning and good afternoon to the both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
And good morning and good afternoon to all of our viewers and all of our listeners. We're so appreciative that you have decided to tune in and dial in with us today. And today we want to talk a little bit about marketing to your consumer, the way that they want you to market to them. That was a lot. Let's break that down. That was a whole mouthful of marbles. Let's just say it one more time. We want to talk about how we can invest in marketing and how we can market to our consumers the way that they want to be marketed to. So what does that really mean and what does that really look like? So Jen, why don't you start us off a little bit, because you have shared a lot before we hit record today on things you have tried, taking a leap of faith, working through thought processes on where you might see your clients having brand recognition, all of the above. So why don't you start us off on this wonderful day on this conversation?
No, this is a great conversation. I think for small business owners, when it comes to marketing, it can definitely feel overwhelming, especially if you've never done it before. And I think it's about being creative when it comes to marketing. So, we all know kind of the basics of marketing and engagement when you're starting a business. You'll see a lot of times we have monthly newsletters go out. We have things that are just automatic that makes our lives easier. And then we talk about, there's all different kinds of marketing that you can do, whether you're trying to attract new customers to your business or you're trying to maintain the engagement of your current clients. So I think two different things. For me, the biggest thing, and I think you guys could probably relate, is there's no marketing in the world that will ever replace referrals. And so over the years inside of my business, I have always tracked how do we get new clients inside of our business. And there's two ways. The number one way is referrals. And the second way is some kind of online social media presence. You might see people say, oh, I drove by, I noticed your sign, things like that. So I've always kind of focused on the top two ways people actually come in and spend their money with us. And so I focus my marketing ideas around those two things. So number one, for us, we always really had a strong referral program inside of our business. It's really nice to remember that if you're going to reward people for coming to your business, you have to reward loyal people too, right? Because that's one big turnoff is like, wait a minute, I'm always, coming to your business. I'm loyal. Why do all the new clients get everything good? So we've always had a strong referral program. We want to thank our loyal clients for referring us and then have an incentive for new clients to come into our business. And then the other piece of that, obviously, then when it comes to our hairdressers and the people that work inside of our business, is always kind of coaching on how to do referrals better, because it can be intimidating to just simply ask the question. And so in a business that we're always building, it's important to be able to simply ask the question to your customers, to your clients, to ask them to refer people like them. And then it comes to social media online, right? We say this so much on the podcast, because like there's certain things you just have to do in 2025. You can't not have a website. You guys probably don't know this, but me and my sister hang out a lot. And when we're out in the world, a lot of times we're like, did you hear about this new nail salon? Or did you hear about, the new ice cream place that's opening up? My sister, Staci, will be the first one to be on Instagram. And if they do not have a profile on Instagram, we are not going. We are not going.
Mm-mm.
So, and that's how we are as consumers. So I always, keep that in the back of my mind of how I operate, how my family operates. So I want to make sure when a potential new client, even my current clients, they see me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, that I give them something good to look at, and give them something interesting to engage with, and just being top notch. The website, making sure, it's constantly updated. I like to do like a full update once a year, changing pictures and things like that, changing the information So you just want to make sure that you know, when people come looking for you, that you're ready, whether that's your current clients or new clients. So that's kind of where we start when we start to think about marketing. Those are the two categories that I've started with. Now, we can dive into all the other type of marketing I've done. But like I said, I think marketing should be creative. So knowing where you should spend your time and then always trying new things when it comes to marketing. That was a lot, Jace.
It was a lot. And you made a really that you made a really good point, Jen, is, especially for our listeners, but how do you kind of vet places that you want to do business with? What are the ways that you end up, looking at a place? Like, for example, Jennifer and I are constantly looking at things to do with the kids and sending things to each other on Instagram. And so taking a look at, like, how do we look at doing business with other businesses? And a lot of times we're the type of consumer that we want to go to those places. So obviously that business is doing one piece of the pie correctly, because we will go to that business. We will, visit that location. We will take the kids there, or we'll share with the rest of the family, or plan some, it's all encompassing. But that's a really good point, is to first look at the people around you. If those people are your ideal clients, how do they want to receive that information? What are they doing the most of? And I think that's a really good starting point, especially for entrepreneurs that maybe don't have a, specific idea on how to go about it. Dad was leaning in, so I know what that means.
Yeah, well, again, that was excellent, Jen, because you're right on. And I think that, when it comes to your marketing, one of the things that I liked what you said was that, there's these, depending on your business, but in most there's the tried and true ways of, connecting with your clients, or, drawing in new clients. But now with technology, there's so many more ways, to touch prospective clients, prospects, current clients. And so now I think the tricky part is trying to understand, first of all, what that looks like in your type of business, whether you're in, goods and services, retail, whatever type of business, because it's all not going to be exactly the same. There's going to be a lot of commonality, but not all the same. So understanding that, but then just understanding what all this, because I think from our experience, where we can get a little off track with our marketing is that we can begin to feel like we're doing all this marketing, so it negates the need to do some of the tried and true stuff. And, so I always am trying to communicate to everybody that, our online presence, our website, our social media, our email marketing, all of that is meant to come alongside what we, our traditional, more of our traditional stuff. So, as an example, you mentioned referrals, Jen. Well, if I'm out and I'm meeting with a client and I know that client is very satisfied with what we do for them, I'm going, shame on me if I'm not asking them for referrals. I mean, I'm asking them, I'm in their presence. I'm not sending them an email to send me referrals, or that type of thing. Now, what I hope is that in addition to the experience they have with me, our staff, and the things that they receive from us through emails and other things that we're hoping bring value to them and their businesses, all of that just creates a much more robust experience that they're going to be eager to give us referrals. But shame on me if I'm not asking.
Mm-hmm.
And I still need to ask the question. Or, we might get people opening up things in our what we're sending to them, emails, because we track open rates and all of that. Well, if I'm getting, information that says this client is opening up every email that we send on a particular topic, Well, shame on me if I'm not picking up the phone and saying, "Hey, Jennifer, it's Jack. I see, we see that you're really looking at our emails regarding investments. Just wanted to reach out to you to see if you have any questions, if you wanted to schedule a meeting." But shame on me if I'm not picking up the phone, because if I'm thinking that those emails are going to drive them to the phone to call me, then I'm missing the boat, I believe. But I also know that they're interested in something. So maybe all I need to do is make that phone call, and they're like, "Yeah, I've been thinking about it. I've been seeing your stuff. I do have a couple questions." And now next thing you know, you're in a much better position, maybe to do some additional business with that client. So I think that's the big thing that most business owners need to understand is we have all these ways to innovate, be creative, as you said, Jen, but but that should be helping us do the other things that have been around for a long time. It should make that easier for us. I mean, let's face it, if somebody's opened up, almost all my emails on a particular topic, I'm going to have a much better chance of converting that when I pick up the phone than if I pick up and they have no clue about this particular investment, and all of a sudden I start talking about it. Now, we're starting from ground zero. So hopefully people are, catching on to my point here is that, that's in my opinion, it comes alongside. It's not meant to always replace, maybe is the best way to sum it up.
Making your marketing work for you. And so I think that is what makes business owners, the difference between good and great. So for example, if I'm posting on Instagram about, the benefits of working at my salon, and I see that there's one person on Instagram that is liking that post every single time, is commenting on that post every single time. Yeah, now it's time for me to reach out to them and say, "Hey," even through Instagram as a DM, I notice that every time I post about work-life balance, creating your own schedule, picking your own price point, you are liking that post. I think we should meet. I think we should have a conversation. I would love to hear about your goals. That's going the extra mile. And that's just like you said, Dad. We have this marketing for a reason. We're putting this information out for a reason, and then we need to make sure that we follow through. So I love that piece about marketing is because we're making the marketing for us. We're dropping those nuggets along the way to get people's attention. Yeah.
Yeah. Good conversation. So let me ask you both, what about is all marketing, necessarily beneficial for our business? So, before we, started, we were kind of talking about, you know, um, you know, putting some, advertising in certain places, and, it just really wasn't, the niche of clientele that maybe we were looking for, and what kind of experience and what kind of learning experience we've gotten through that. So why don't you guys talk a little bit about that? Jennifer talked about doing a leap of faith on something in particular, but out of it came kind of I guess, a realization of some things about marketing. I'm sorry.
Don't sugarcoat it, Stace. I said
And I don't know how much you want to say, girl. Okay, I'm trying to be politically correct here. All right.
made bad decisions, which I think any entrepreneur that has been in business,
Nugget alert! Nugget alert! Jennifer made a bad decision. Go ahead.
and I'm a Leo. That's a lot for me to say out of my mouth. It hurt. It hurt a little bit.
This is true. Go ahead.
If you're in business for any amount of time, you're going to make business decisions that you see through. And then you say, if I could do that again, I probably wouldn't do it that way. But the benefit of all of that is that you gain experience and you learn from those things, right? And so I was sharing with you guys, in my area, I have people that reach out to me. There's a diner down the street that they have placemats that you can advertise on. We had a ShopRite built not too long ago. They have advertising outside of the ShopRite. And so I think when I talk about trying different ways of marketing and advertising, that's what I mean. So I definitely haven't been shy to trying new things. I think what's important is to, number one, understand what am I trying to gain out of this marketing or advertising. And so, for example, when I talk about, I placed an ad at the diner on the placemat, you know, I did that back when I first opened almost 9 years ago. And the goal for me was not to necessarily drive clients to my business. Of course, we would love that, right? But the goal was just brand awareness. When I marketed my salon early on, it was about putting my name out there. I wanted people to know that there was a new salon in the area. I wanted them to know me, that this was my salon, that I've been doing hair a long time, that I'm passionate, that I'm here to serve the community. And I was just trying to put my message out there. And with, marketing and having advertisement around brand awareness and people getting to know me, I was wanting that to now drive people actually walking through the door. Then I could take over from there. I just got I needed that to drive people to the door, and then my personality, my culture, my business, we could take it from there. So I think that, when you are trying different marketing ideas, it's understanding what am I trying to gain from this. And so when I got offered to do an ad with ShopRite, it was a hefty bill that came along with that. So I'm like, no, this is about brand awareness at this point. I need bodies to make this make sense for me and my business. So being able to evaluate the why behind what you're doing it for, and then being able to execute it, and then, letting it play out for a period of time, and being able to look back to say, did this work? Did this, do what I wanted it to do? And then obviously then we can either say, all right, well, I'm not going to market or advertise in that way again because I didn't gain anything from it. Or you know what, we need to do this again because this was beneficial to the business.
And I think the other thing is also understanding what you're targeting with your marketing. So, for example, are we targeting bringing brand new clients into the business, brand new customers, or are we targeting to an existing client base to maybe offer more services or things to that client? Because they're two different things. If you're two different approaches, I should say, and if you're not careful and you commingle them, I know, Jen, you've had that experience where you didn't really catch that piece of it, and what what you were offering out to draw people in the door was not really meant to hit your existing clients, right? And so that was ultimately probably cost you money
Yes.
to do that, because now your existing clients were taking advantage of offers that were meant to really just draw new people into the salon. So just making sure that if you're what you're targeting there, and hopefully, if you don't want to if it doesn't make sense to commingle that, those two groups, you make sure, that you're very clear, on who you're going after there. So that's another big piece in your marketing. But like I said, I just think that, it is such a cool time to be in business because of technology, because of all the different ways that you can be creative and innovative. And I would say, is more better? I would say that it could be, but I think what you really want to make sure of is what you are doing, you're doing it well. For example, if you mentioned it, I mean, if you're utilizing social media, well, then understand what your goal is for social media, and don't dabble, right? Use it. I mean, make posts in social media, be consistent, build that expectation, build that, where people, are beginning to, really see things on a consistent basis and with changes, not the same thing over and over again. If you're doing a website, as you said, Jen, making sure that it's looked at, it's revised, it's livened up a little bit. If you have a blog, don't say I have a blog and people look on it and your last blog was 2 years ago.
Right.
I mean, that'll hurt you more than help you, right? Because again, it tells people yeah, you got good ideas, but you don't carry through. So,
Mhm.
you know, what's that mean when you're going to do my hair, right? I mean, that's how people think.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how people think. So you have to make sure, that, it's better to cast a smaller net and make sure you're being very targeted and doing it well than try to go out there and do, this big wide net and it just gets overwhelming, for what you're doing. The other thing I would say too, and this is probably something that I would really recommend is get help. Don't I know when we went into really a full blown marketing using email and CRMs and all this, and we're looking at these programs on all the things it can do. And it quickly dawned on me, you know, we can't do this.
Hmm.
I mean, and take advantage of, how robust this could be. Yeah, we could dabble in a couple things, with the existing. So that's when, lo and behold, Janet, our producer, came on into the scene. Because we went out there and said, if we're going to make that investment, let's just take it a step farther and get someone in here who can actually help us build this out in a robust way because the system will allow that. And so, when you're looking at your investment, and again, that doesn't mean you have to have a full-time marketing person, but there's some good people out there. Staci knows one, that can help you with that, maybe a few hours a week. Jen, I know that's what you do. But just get people in there that know it and can help you keep it up, keep it fresh, keep it what you're wanting it to be and not try to tackle that on top of everything else and you're trying to run your business. So again, highly recommend, you like other professionals in helping with your marketing.
That's really good advice, Dad. And certainly we've benefited from that over the years of saying, you know what, this is not our forte. So we will find someone that it is and then profusely thank them forever and ever because then we really realize that we have no idea what we're doing in that area. So, but I think that, we made it was a really good conversation today. What I really I hope our listeners can take away from is, what Dad said, the nugget alert of do something and do it well and see it through and be consistent because when you're marketing, people want to see that you're consistent because like Jennifer and I have mentioned, if we go to your Instagram and you haven't posted in 2 years and you take 3 days to reply to my message, I had already moved on. We already made an appointment somewhere else. We booked something else. We're going somewhere new. I've moved past it. And that's the reality of how, consumers are operating. Also, just where do you want your get your clients from? What are they looking at? And being able to analyze that information. And then taking a leap of faith. And sometimes those work out well. And sometimes we get a very nice learning experience, don't we, Jennifer?
Yes, we do.
It's all a learning experience. Well, we want to thank our listeners and our viewers today for dialing in with us. We appreciate you guys oh so very much. And we will see you all in our next episode. Bye bye. One on the dot.